Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today we got just a couple leaks from Ixalan spoilers, the Lost Caverns. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. We're on Rumble now, YouTube, TCG Player, and eBay has a store to buy cards. All that kind of stuff will help support the channel. Remember, comment, like, subscribe here and on Rumble. Um, because if not, I can't keep it sponsor free because I gotta get paid for something. Because if not, the wife's gonna yell at me for being in here being silly. Um, and the last thing I want to do is start an OnlyFans, so let's not go there. Now, that being said, I will be traveling the next couple days for work. So I will try to get some videos out of leaks and spoilers while I'm on the road with my laptop. Probably will be piss poor quality at best, but I will give it a try just for you. So, with all that said, let's get into it and let's take a look at what the leaks are for today. So, today we've got Colossadactyl, 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 I guess. So this thing is a 2 green and 2 for a 4/5 reach trample. This is really good. 4 mana 4/5 is already good. Reach and trample is something we normally don't get. I remember back in the day you could get Urnham Jin for a green and 3, get you a 4 or 5 that gave your opponent's creatures forest walk. Oh, what a drawback. Yeah. This is 2 green to start, so it is a little worse, but mana conditions are easier these days, so 2 green is really not terrible. Plus, it's a dinosaur, and we know that the dinosaur decks are going to be something to really contend with. And if there's not a whole lot of good dinosaurs to go around, this will definitely make the cut. I see this being playing in Standard. This is definitely going to be a limited All-Star for all of its abilities, not just Trample, but Reach, and its mana cost. It's huge. Anyway, moving on. So next we have this. We have Self-Reflection, something everybody needs. For 2 blue and 4, we have a sorcery that creates a token that's a copy of target creature you control. That's okay. It does have flashback for a blue and 3, which is what we're used to seeing the cost of this being. So with that said, is this better than our normal stuff we have that makes tokens that are copies of creatures you control? Yes and no. The no part comes from 2 blue and 4 is way too much to start with. However, if you're running something that's going to make you discard cards, this is a good card to cycle into your graveyard and just use the flashback cost. That's perfectly fine. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward, because there's lots of different ways to discard cards. And when you're looking at a deck that does a lot of card discard, you want utility cards like this that you can still use after you discard them, so that you don't care that you discard them. So, depending on how you built your deck, this could be amazing or it could be too much. All in all, it's really going to depend on how you build your commander deck and what you're really looking to get out of it. But the ability to copy one of your creatures for 6 and flash it back for 4, the flashback makes this card, I think, worth playing. Only in Commander, though. Moving on. Next, we have Market Gnome. That is hilarious. I think we see these in airports nowadays. Anyway, moving on. 1 white for an 0/3. When the Market Gnome dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Why wouldn't you? It's only a white card. That's what white does, right? Anyway, when Market Gnome is exiled from the battlefield while you're activating a craft ability, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Now this puts it on a whole new level. If you craft something and exile this gnome, you still get to gain a life and draw a card. No, you don't get both, because either it dies or it's exiled. It's one or the other. It's not both, so let's not have that conversation. But the cool thing is you get the ability regardless. Well, if you're activating a craft ability. Obviously, if someone exiles this and it's not a craft ability, you don't get to gain a life and draw a card. But if they're exiling this, that's going to leave something else on the battlefield that they probably should have exiled instead, because this is not threatening anybody's life in any way, shape, or form. As you can see, it's got food and bread and a flag. This is not the threat that you should be looking to kill. But anyway, cards like this, if more of them do come out, may make the craft ability on a lot of artifacts way more appetizing. Because you don't really lose cards. You'll net gain cards while still being able to activate your craft ability. So this is a very interesting card to see get previewed. I think what really is going to matter is how many more cards like this will be in the set. And that's what we'll probably need to look for. All right, so moving on. Next we have Colossal Leech. It's like my ex-wife. Anyway, so for a black and 7, you get a 5/5 life linking creature, which is a bit overpriced. However, this works off the cave mechanics. It costs 1 less to cast for each cave you control and have in the graveyard. In the graveyard's a good part because if you have to discard a cave, it's not a big deal. It still makes the leech cheaper. So at the end of the day, it just gets cheaper all in all. And we know some caves, or maybe some caves, can be sacrificed. Maybe to draw cards or some other ability. Maybe crop rotate your cave, and you still get the ability from it, even though it's been crop rotated. With that being said, this is a limited all-star at best because of the high cost and the restraint of having to have a cave. Because let's be honest, the best you could do to cast this, if it's 1 less for every cave, and let's say you have 4 caves, on turn 4, you can lay a cave, and then this actually costs a black and 3, which you could then tap all your caves, technically, and cast a 5/5 on turn 4 with lifelink, which sounds great. But we've seen the caves not be as good as regular lands, so is it even really possible? Who knows? Now, with that being said, if there's some kind of shenanigans that you can put caves into your graveyard, maybe this becomes a powerful card. But all in all, I see this not coming into play very often. At best, it'll be in limited, but that's probably going to be asking a lot. Unless you're running some kind of weird graveyard manipulation thing and you have some way to discard this. Also, 5/5 is not a 5/5 lifelink is not a be-all end-all in limited. We have lots of other prospects that could be way more dangerous than this. So, moving on. Now we have a flip card. We have Nooks and Crannies. I know that's what that says, right? Nooks and Crannies. Anyway, it's a 1 green enchantment, so it's already easy to cast. If a creature you control would explore, you instead scry 1, then that creature explores. That seems really powerful because scry 1 is a pseudo draw card. And if you know there's a land on top and you need a land, use scry. Oh, look, I found the land. I will now explore, draw said land, put land into play. If you don't need lands, use scry, land on top. Land goes to the bottom, so you can hopefully find something better. If there's still a land on top, you draw it, deepen your deck to get more better cards. If it's not a land on top, +1/+1 counter, we move on. Already like that first one. Now, when Nooks and Crannies enters the battlefield, target creature you control explores. Again, 1 green pseudo draw card. Amazing. It's going to work great with smaller green creatures and or green white, or well, green anything. So that's also cool. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, you get to transform Nooks and Crannies, which if you're exploring, you're probably going to get land into play pretty damn quick. So once you do, this flips over to a cave. Hey, it's a cave. I wonder if I think all the lands flip over to caves. Maybe that leech is good. Nah, probably not. Anyway, it taps for a green. Now, for a green 3 and tapping it, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them. Put that card in your hand. Put the rest in the bottom in random order. I mean, you got to have 7 land already to get this on the battlefield as a land. I think the best part of this card is probably the facing side. I don't see you wanting to flip this over more often than not, unless, I mean, obviously if it's late game, you draw cards, so be it. But I think this does have a lot of potential, especially on the 1 green enchantment side. I think this will be a great card for limited with the whole Explorer and other concepts going on inside the limited format. 1 mana may be good enough for standard. It seems good enough. I don't think it's going to see play in older formats, only because a lot of older formats don't have a ton of Explorer creatures. That's probably the only thing keeping this out of older formats, because it does seem like to have good abilities, and it is really cheap. But again, until we get a lot of Explorer creatures into some kind of weird Explorer deck, Probably not going to happen. But all in all, solid card. All right, moving on. Oh, that's it. Wow, that was a short one. So don't forget, guys, I'll be traveling, leaving first thing in the morning. I'll try to get a video up of the leaks of Sunday, which probably won't be very much, to even be honest with you. But we'll see what we can do. And with all that said, guys, remember, until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table, playa. Planes, blah.